my fancy slides to you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to talk about is choose wisely. If you can remember on the efficiency calculator, I spoke about the last one about the numbers, and I say let the numbers speak. So I'm going to share some ideas about the numbers. So basically I want to talk about three topics. So the first one is understanding the financial burden that medical scheme members are under. If there's medical scheme members here that disagree with me, please let me know. I will want to meet you. And then what is financial risk protection? When you speak about health, what does it entail? Is it just a medical scheme or not? Is there maybe extra things? And then I'm going to share a possible approach with you. So, if we look at the first one, people do not save. Do you know of people that actually save? We are a nation that do not save. Now, when we look at stats, they tell us that 61% of people save less than 10% of their salary. And the reason is that the debt to income ratio is 69%. So 69% of a guy's salary he pays to service the debt. So he's got 31% to live from. And that means that he will borrow again. So it makes it difficult to save. That's the first one. The second one is that on medical schemes, people, you get sort of three main types of medical schemes. You've got a hospital plan, you get a savings plan, and then you have some more comprehensive type cover. Now, since 2011, comprehensive cover increased, hold on to your tables, 296%. Your savings portion increased 289%, so that's okay. But on those comprehensive options, they usually have something called a self-payment gap. So you have a certain amount that you pay, then you have to pay out of your pocket, and then the scheme will maybe pay again. That increased 443%.
Okay.
Yes. That
How is that justified?
cost increases and members not being vocal about their medical scheme and understanding that. That's the main reason. Then, on the savings plans, the increase was 268% and the savings component 263%. So that's more or less, and then hospital plans increased 268% also. Okay, that's a huge increase. Now, what does that result in? What's the impact? The impact is that people move from comprehensive cover because I just can't afford it. I showed a picture. So that's why in 2012, hospital or comprehensive cover was 45% of the market, and I looked at 60% of the members, so it's quite a fair sample. Of that 45% were on comprehensive type cover. Today, that figure is 26%. The savings component was 40, it is now 54%. So people are moving down, and the same with the hospital cover, it was 15, it's now 19. So what basically happens, the comprehensive people move to Sabre move to hospital, and the hospital guys go off the medical scheme. That's basically what's happening.
Is that not enough evidence for the medical insurance companies to then deal with that and lower their costs?
It's difficult to do that because there is cost pressures.
Yeah.
There is cost pressures that makes it difficult to do. So the problem, I sketched the problem. Now if we want to look at, if I want to cover myself, if I have a health event, what do I need to look at in my health cover? The one is a medical scheme, okay? But what's the added? So you have to make provision for co-payments, the self-payment gap that increased more than 400%, or out-of-pocket expenses. Doctors also charge more than what a medical scheme pays, so you need to have gap cover. Then you need to have cover for dread disease and disability, and then you need two types of cover. You need a capital lump sum sometimes, and you sometimes need also an income from that. You need income protection, and then some people retire, and then they need to pay their medical scheme. So they need to provide for that. And then we also want to live healthier. So we want to pay for the gym or healthy food or supplements or vitamins or health coaches or preventative checks. So there's all these additional things that we need to pay. And to do that, excluding your medical scheme will cost you easily 5,000 rand more a month. Okay. So that's a problem. So if we now look at the conventional logic, it's a person that wants a comprehensive type cover. It's 14,500 rand for him and his family, him and his wife. The self-payment gap, if he wants to make provision for that, is 950 rand. So in total, it costs that person 15,450 rand. That's a huge amount of money. To be able to afford it, if he pays 15% of his salary, he needs to have a net salary of 97,000 or 103,000 if he wants to make provision for the self-payment gap. If, however, he wants to spend 25% of his salary will be between 58 and 62,000 rand. To be able to afford it, net salary, not gross salary. And then do the person have that other 5,000 rand for the financial risk protection? So I looked at another example. Why not look at a hospital plan? Can cost you 5,500 rand. You can have a cash provision of 1,300. You have an emergency fund of, let's say, 2,400. You put it aside, and you have your 5,000 rand for your financial risk protection. That total cost is 14,350. Cheaper than what just a comprehensive cover will cost you. But now the net salary is possible at a 15% salary of between 45 and 95, depending what you take. Or if it's a 25% of your salary, it's between 27 and 57. So it becomes actually far more affordable to do that. So if you actually look at the conventional option, there's no provision for the self-payment gap. There just ain't money. There is no funding for financial risk protection for all these additional health events. You just don't have the money. And you have about 42,000 rand for day-to-day expenses, but you don't go into that above threshold benefit that where the scheme pays again, because you just don't have that self-payment gap, because the guy don't have that money to fund for that. That's just one of those realities. On the other side, if you take that solution, you already in your premium have included a financial risk protection, or at least a step in towards that. Depends on age and risk profile, what that amount would be. But you have 45,000 rand in savings, so you have more money available than what you would have had on the other side. So basically what I'm saying, I've given an alternative. I don't say that alternative works for everybody. It is specific needs analysis that need to be done, that somebody needs to look at it. But my question to you is, after I've shared this with you, is it not a good idea to discuss this approach, maybe with your broker? They are competent to advise you what specific solution would work. But there's two solutions. So one actually gives you better protection, more or less the same base cost, actually cheaper than a base cost. Gives you a bit more cover. You can actually also have a reduction in that premium. It can actually be less than 5,000 depending on certain choices that you make. So there is solutions available, and maybe it is time to start asking those questions. Remember the last step with the action that I talk about? The last one is crunching the numbers. This is crunching the numbers and actually looking at your stuff in a bit of a different way than what you used to look at. It doesn't need to stay the same. It's getting expensive. I showed that in that one example. Thanks.
Any questions? Yes, please.